Hey, what's going on, you guys? It's Toby's Talk Show, and today we'll be talking about who I think will win the remaining series in the second round. So, we're going to be talking about Clippers and Jazz, Sixers and Hawks, and Bucks and Nets. And I thought that'd be interesting to do before the rest of the games in the second round begin and end, because obviously I had my guess in the beginning before the playoffs even started, but obviously everything changes a little bit, and so we'll talk about it. And obviously, the Suns and Nuggets series is over. The Suns swept them, so there's no need to talk about them. So let's start with the West since they only have one game, and that's the Jazz and Clippers. And last night, Paul George and Kawhi combined for 62 points and defeated the Jazz to tie the series after being down 0-2 for the second time this year in the playoffs, and now tying it, for the second time, making the series 2-2. We know that the last time the Clippers lost Game 5 and they won the last two. We'll see if that happens again. Um, but this is very interesting. I think a big component that everyone thinks about but then forgets most of the time is, look, Mike Conley, the Jazz, big cog, right? The Jazz, even though in playoffs, with 5 minutes left, you're gonna go to Donovan Mitchell. At the end of the day, the Jazz are the best when they play how they've played all year, right? That's how they got here. Um, and that's with the ball movement. That's finding the guy that's open for three and shooting it, right? That's what they usually like to do. Or you're going to get a Donovan Mitchell drive and layup or Gobert alley oop. But most of the time, they try to kick it out for a nice open three since they have so many good shooters. And Mike Conley is a big piece of this because if Mitchell's out, he's the facilitator for them. And just in general, he really is the facilitator for the Jazz. And the Jazz, like every team, they're a machine. But you look at the Nets, and it's more like, all right, you have your three big cogs, and if the small cogs, break, it's okay. The machine will still run, right, with the Nets. But with the Jazz, you need pretty much every cog in this machine. And without Mike Conley, the Jazz just aren't the same team. Mike Conley's giving them 17 points a game, basically, on great 3-point shooting and being that facilitator they've needed for a minute. Ricky Rubio was great, but Mike Conley's an upgrade. And you've seen the record the Jazz had this year in the regular season with Conley. First time All Star. I'm very happy for him. But if we're talking about this game in specifics, I think if Mike Conley's not playing, I think the Clippers will win it. I think if Conley plays, this series is going to go to Game 7. I think the Jazz are going to take one before a Game 7 if Conley's healthy. If not, I don't really know what's wrong with him. I think the Clippers could win in 6. My guess is honestly either way. I'm going to say Clippers in 7 just because I trust Paul George and Kawhi, and I've trusted them. If you guys have been following this channel for the past year and a half, I thought the Clippers would win last year, and I think I predict them to win this year. But they're just so untrustworthy because they always go down 0-2, and then you lose belief, and then you have to regain it, but you still don't trust them. But I'm gonna go with the Clippers. I think they're gonna win in 7 if Conley's not playing. I think if Conley plays, I think they'll have a better chance in 7. I think it'll go to 7, no matter what. Obviously, there's a pretty good chance of that happening. You just need each team to win a game. But in my guess is Clippers in 7, just because of the superstars, power, Paul George, and Kawhi. But if Kawhi, who left the game 4 a little early, if he's not healthy, I'm gonna have to give it to the Jazz. But I'm gonna say Clippers in 7. Sixers, Hawks. I don't really have to talk about this one too much. I think if Joel Embiid, who just had a really rough second half yesterday, if he made even 2 of the, what was it, 13 shots he missed, they would have won the game. So I think the Sixers are gonna, go home, and I think they'll take it. And I think they're gonna take the game 6 in Atlanta. So I think the Sixers are gonna win 6. I just think they're just too talented. Obviously, the Hawks are very good. But Joel Embiid, 3 out of these 4 games have been unstoppable. Ben Simmons, if he's aggressive, he's really good. And Tobias Harris just has to keep hitting his shots. But I think the Sixers will win this one in 6. And then the last one, Bucks Nets. It seems like Harden's going to play today, which makes things a lot more interesting because I think sorry, I think that if KD has at least one of James Harden or Kyrie, he'll win this series. The question is Harden 100% healthy? And I don't think so. Um, so I'm gonna say Bucks in 7. I think it could go either way. It depends really the health of the Nets, big three. But if James Harden's fully healthy, I'll say Nets in 7. But because I'm uncertain of James Harden health, I will say uh, Bucks in 7, which will make a very interesting Suns Clippers. If my predictions are all right, Suns Clippers, Sixers Bucks Eastern Conference and Western Conference Finals. Which that'd be awesome. 4 teams that haven't had success recently in winning a championship. So we'll see what happens. I hope you guys enjoyed. This would be the Sixers' first time since AI in what 2000 to make the finals. The Bucks, honestly, probably since Kareem and Oscar is my guess. The Suns, I don't think they've ever. I guess since MJ with Charles Barkley, and then the Jazz also since Michael Jordan with Stockton and Malone, I believe. Not 100% sure, but that's my guess. That's it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. So, like I said, Bucks and 7 if Harden's not fully healthy. Um, Sixers and 6 and Clippers and 7. But again, look, both 2 out of these 3 series. It depends on health. Is Conley okay? Is Harden and Kyrie okay? We'll have to see. But it's part of the game. Have to live with it. It is what it is. Every single year, people get hurt. But yeah, guys, that's really it. That's my predictions. Let me know your predictions down below so we could compare. And I could roast you if you get it completely wrong, and you guys could roast me if I get it wrong. But that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great rest of your day, guys. Bye bye.